But the reason why a man would rather go straight to a prostitute over, because it's one, it might be a lot cheaper, less headache, you pay for whatever.
And no dates needed, no fancy dinners needed,
none of that
no
stuff.
coffee
None of
needed.
that stuff.
So, as a man, right, like, to me, picking up call girls or prostitutes, why would a man want to put his penis inside of a vagina that has been that has been used by other men? To me, as a woman, that is disgusting and that is nasty. So why would a man want to insert his penis in a woman that lives a lifestyle as such?
Well, consider this, right? So we see women actively out there selling themselves, right? But most women out there have had multiple penises in them, but they're not out in the streets openly selling
No, they're
themselves.
discreet.
They're just
Right, there's a difference.
Hold on a sec. So to ask that question doesn't really. Now it's riskier, yes, in terms of like being able to catch something, right? It is far more riskier. But the reason why a man would rather go straight to a prostitute over, because it's one, it might be a lot cheaper, less headache, you pay for whatever.
And no dates needed, no fancy dinners needed,
none of that
no
stuff.
coffee
None of
needed.
that stuff. So you have women that are literally selling themselves, not in the streets, but they're selling themselves in other ways, right? Where they would put themselves out so they could be taken out by men, and many of them will have multiple men.
But men don't. So men, okay. So for the women that are open, like the call girls, the prostitutes, like men, they don't really care how many dicks, raw or not, that these women have been with. They just want to fuck real, get their. Sorry, they just want to get it in, and they're good. There she go right there.
They're not trying to wife them.
There she go right there.
Yeah,
she like walking down the street like.
Butt ass nigga. Yes, they're not trying to wife these women. Right, men are not trying to wife these women.
I'm saying, but don't they care about their health? Don't they care about the risks as STDs and don't they care about that?
Chances are these men that are picking up prostitutes are wearing protection, right? Chances are they are, right? However, it's they're not thinking about. They got a nut to bust.
So in their minds, they're not thinking about it's
they got a nut
hygiene wise and lifestyle wise. They don't really care. They just want to bust.
Well,
that's
it. I mean, a wet vagina feels better than their hands. In other words, right? So they got a nut to bust. It's less of a hassle. It's straight to the point. You have men that spend $300, $400, $500 on dates and don't get nothing, where they can easily go pick up a prostitute, $50 to $100, whatever, $200, and they get everything, right? So it is what it is, right? And these women are willing to sell themselves. So at the end of the day, you have the women that are out there on the street selling themselves like that, they're far more honest and open to who they are. Right? They're really, like, if you're out there half naked, you're pretty much naked. So you're uncovered. You're letting the world see who you are, your face and everything. Like, you're telling everybody, look, I'm a hoe, I'm a prostitute, I'm here for your money, and I'll suck and F you, whatever, right? Versus women who does that, but are more clothed, are more,
But the crazy thing is, like, women that do that, they have such a bad reputation, they have such a bad rapport. But for the men that do it, it's like it's okay for them to do it. Like they're they're part of the problem. They're part of the issue.
Well, this is the thing. For a lot of these men, that is the best that they can get. They're not they may try to get the class.
So then why? So but why call these women hoes and sluts if they're part of the problem? They're hoes and sluts too.
Hold on, no, because they're not making money from it. They're the ones spending the money.
Yeah, but they're enabling it.
No, okay, look, I'm not going to say that they are enabling it. Look, you have a lot of men that are not getting any action unless they pay for it, directly pay for it, unless they go to a prostitute, unless they go to a whorehouse or whatever. You have a lot of men that's what they have to do in order to really get some action, right? They're not getting it the normal way because a lot of women, most women, they're going after a particular type of man, a man who has a higher status in life, who has more money, a man who has more. So
these women that we just saw in Vallejo.
Okay, but what I'm saying here is, men aren't as picky as women are, but these women right here, what they're picky about is they trying to get paid. They're trying to survive. This is survivor mode at its best. What you see is women trying to survive, and what you also see is men who can't get any action. This is the best way that they can get action because they'd rather go ahead and spend 20, 30, 40, I don't know how much they're spending to get the action here from a prostitute versus having to take you out to dinner, 2 or 3 multiple dinners, and may not even get any because she's going to give it up to the one guy who ain't got to spend a dime for that action, while this guy is working his ass off and get nothing.
So are you trying to validate that man's action?
I'm not trying to validate anything. I'm pretty much telling you exactly what it is.
So what are those men considered?
What you mean? It doesn't matter what they're considered. The fact of the matter is these men can't get any action to begin with.
So okay, but these women are what are they called?
Well,
what are these women called?
What these women call survivors.
Aren't they prostitutes?
They are prostitutes, but but if they can make money a better way, they would.
So so they have a name, right? They have a title.
Yeah, prostitutes.
So what are these men called?
What these men called? There's no name for these men.
Oh.
Because first and foremost, these men keep these women eating.
Right.
Okay, literally speaking, right? It's just cause and effect. You have men that ain't getting nothing. You have women that ain't got no money. So, the women that ain't got no money, they gonna sell it to the men that can't really get no ass.
I'm talking about the societal perception and title that women such as these are given versus men who are also
whores.
But the men but what are these men called or considered?
They're just called men who pays for whores.
But they're not seen as low or as devalued as these women. These women are seen as devalued, but what are these men seen as? Well doesn't matter.
Here's the difference, right? These men are keeping the economy flowing because they're paying, right?
Do you see the point I'm trying to make?
But you have to keep it 100, right? Like, without these men, where would these women be? I mean, you see far more. Look, if these women weren't doing what they're doing, there'd be like majority of these men that are homeless in the streets, right? These women are actually able to have a shelter because they're men that is willing to pay for that, right? Men that can't do that, you see them homeless. Majority of the homeless that we have, is men. Majority of the homeless population are men. You do have women that are homeless, but majority of them are men, right? So this is what you have going on right here is these men are paying for these women because most of these men, they're not getting it anywhere.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring up the point that there is a double standard.
No, that is not a double standard. That is a cause and effect. There is no double standard. What is the double standards? Tell me, please. Explain the double standard.
Because the woman is seen as a whore.
Okay.
A slut.
Okay.
She's seen as devalued for selling her. But yet this man
because she has
that
no other value.
enables it is seen as okay. Yeah, we're used to it. We understand.
Because she has no other value to society, right? These men are 9-to-5 workers. They have jobs. These men are continuous contributors to society.
So it's okay for them to.
I'm not saying that it's okay. I forget whether it's okay or not. Forget that point. Because that's irrelevant. What I'm saying here is that these women don't contribute nothing to society, where these men actually contribute a life to society for these women. Because without these women would be homeless.
Okay.
Right? These women would be homeless without these men. So that's what it is.
All right.
Let me know. Am I wrong? Let me know.